Well, this is Ted Ray, folks. You've heard of my sister Violet. I saw a very funny thing today. I was on a tram car when a nervous old lady went up to the conductor and said, "Young man, if I put my foot on the tram line, will I get a shock?" He said, "No, madam, unless you put the other one on the overhead wire." I was just going home, and boy, what a home. A nice house, but a very, very quiet neighborhood. They're holding a carnival night there next week. Yeah, they're going to light the other lamp. I'll never forget the day I went to buy the house. The agent said to me, "Now, Mr. Ray, how are you going to pay for this place?" I said, "Cash down, of course." Well, they gave him a glass of water, and he got up and said, "Now, the first thing we have to do is go inside and test the walls for sound." I said, "Well, how do we do that?" He said, "Well, it's really very simple. You go in the dining room, I'll go in the drawing room. I'll shout a few words through the wall, and you let me know if you can hear me." I said, "Okay." Well, he went in the drawing room, and I went in the dining room. And he said, "Well, can you hear me?" I said, "Hear you? Blimey, I can see you." The walls are stucco, you see, and oh boy, was I stucco. The neighbors are very nice. They'll borrow anything. The man next door has borrowed so much stuff from me, I feel more at home in his house than I do in my own. It's all right, but I got to go next door to shave. It's tough, you know. And this neighbor of mine is one of those very clever fellows, very handy about the house. The other day, I leaned over the fence, and there he was with a lot of nails and wood hammering away. I said, "Good morning, Joe. How's the wife?" He said, "Not very well. She has a very bad cold." I said, "Oh, that's too bad. Is that her coffin?" He said, "No, it's a rabbit hutch." Yeah, of course, one half of the world doesn't know how the other half lives, but it's not my wife's fault. I really only married for money. The wife's people are very wealthy. They're in the iron and steel business. Her mother irons and her father steels. I'm really very happy when I can get away from it all. I was playing a theater up north the other week, and I had a tough time getting rooms. I went to a house, knocked on the door, out came the landlady. She said, "What is it?" I said, "It's an actor." She said, "Well, what do you want?" I said, "Well, I wanted a room." So she locked up the silver, turned round to her daughter and said, "Go down to your granny's for a week." Ruined my batting average for the season. The theater was a terrible place. Business was so bad, the girl in the box office died, and they didn't find it out for 3 days. The show was terrible, too. Was it terrible? You had to pay twice as much for a seat behind a post. Well, one day I was driving around in my car. I saw a lovely piece of overtime standing on the curb. I said, "Would you like a ride?" She said, "No fooling." I said, "Well, you know, just a little." So she got in the car. We drove out in the country. It was a lovely day, and suddenly a flock of birds flew overhead. She looked up and said, "What kind of birds are they, Mr. Ray?" I said, "Duck." She said, "They look like blackbirds to me." I said, "Never mind, honey. Duck anyway." Well, getting back to the wife, as we all do sometimes, we had a lovely party at my house last Sunday, and my wife's brother came over. He comes over every Sunday, but we let him in last Sunday. We all had a marvelous time. I'll tell you all about it. Well, the party didn't start off very well. My wife's mother arrived and took off her gas mask, and nobody noticed it. Oh, boy, was she burned up. You know, I hate to say this, folks, but she really is an ugly woman. I sent her photograph to Ripley the other day, and he wrote back, "I don't believe it." Then my wife's brother arrived. He's the laziest guy of the whole lot. You know, the seat of his pants is so shiny, he's afraid to bend down in case he gets 7 years bad luck. Well, we all sat down to eat, and I never saw such bad table manners in my whole life. You know, I've still got the mark of the forks in my hand. Suddenly, my little boy, he's only 5 years of old age, well, he got up and he began to recite. He recited Little Jack Horner, and on my violin, I'll try and give you an idea just how it sounded. 5 years of age. Silly, but it's a living. Well, by now it was getting very late, and my wife had just opened the second tin of salmon when she turned around to me and said, "Ted, I wish you'd play something on the violin. Nobody seems to be going home." Was that nice? Of course, I don't play awfully well, but you see, there's a reason. I've been taking lessons on the violin by post for 2 years, and I just found out this morning they've been sending me piccolo lessons. Still, I should worry. It doesn't really matter. I don't depend upon the fiddle for a living. I used to be a female impersonator till a sailor chased me up an alley. Oh, Professor, by the way, do you know the Barber of Seville?
Why, sure.
Get a shave there sometime, will you? You can almost taste the custard, can't you?